Welcome to another amazing podcast. Same podcast, different episode. This is so me, just keeping it fluent and in the moment. We have two beautiful ladies joining us today from the Spirit of Cacao business that I connected with them on Instagram. And Cacao and Ceremony is something that I've held really close to my heart. And so trying to find people that align with similar values have just naturally come in. So I reached out to these beautiful ladies. They got back. It was probably around a month ago now. And we've finally come to this point where we get to chat together and get to understand their background behind how they met each other and why they're passionate about this business that they're in. So let me just give a little bit more of an introduction to them. So it's not just like, did you just stalk somebody else on Instagram and get them to come on your podcast? It's like, yes, that's partly it, but we established a little bit more of a relationship before then. So if I have taken this directly from their website, it's in their beautiful words. And it says, for those of you who haven't seen, the cacao business is out in the world impacting people's lives one hot cup at a time. And you might be thinking, what, how, when? And Georgia and Elyse, these two beautiful ladies, they're on a mission to balance and realign the masculine and the feminine energy in the West through Cacao and Ceremony. So that's something that I speak a lot about in all of the other work I do as well. So we all have masculine and feminine within us that exists within the world. And I think that it's so cool that they're able to blend that in not just all of the other energies that's going on, but in a ceremonial drink. So Georgia herself is a Reiki Master, a Pellowah Healer, which I was just briefly learning about with Georgia before. She's a certified Cacao Facilitator and co-owner of Spirit of Cacao. And her style of healing is deeply shamanic based. And she's been on this journey now for 9 years. And her background in her career is in marketing and e-commerce and has been working in the online space for about a decade. And the other lovely lady is Elyse, and she's also the co-owner of Spirit of Cacao. She's an Ayurvedic practitioner, which speaks really closely to my heart, and a Reiki Master. So she has a background in finance and has spent the last 7 years in retail fashion, with a passion for natural healing and energy alignment. So I've given quite like a wordy introduction, which normally I don't go quite that long in my intros. So I might just select one of you, and I'll choose to go with Georgia first to just say, hey, let them hear your voice and really what got you into this business with all of the other backgrounds that you had, and maybe you can both kind of share where you two met and where this idea of the Spirit of Cacao was born.
Well, hey Lauren, thanks so much for having us on. Privilege for sure. This is our first podcast, so we're popping our cherry. So Spirit of Cacao is definitely a love child that came out of or was birthed during 2020 lockdown in Melbourne. Something really interesting was it came through to us, and it wasn't something that was forced or like a business decision. So it's as if we got a little tap on the shoulder and the spirit was like, I think it's time that you like introduce me to your friends. And we were like, okay, that's weird.
Yes.
Who's that boy?
You're like, Elyse, was that you?
So it was like kind of that little, role play going on in my head. Like that's literally what happened. And then I said to Elyse, I'm hearing this voice. Like, should we do something about it? Because I feel like you're the only person who really gets it. And then she was like, that sounds really cool. And then we didn't speak about it again for a month.
Yeah.
So then she goes on her little journey. And next minute, she's come back to me and she goes, I think we've got to do this. She's like, I'm really receiving a lot about cacao. And it's just like, it's no coincidence. And then it was like back and forth like that for a couple months. And then from one thing to another, it just became a thing of, okay, if we're going to do this, we need the spirit to show us where to go. So it's like, we have this strict criteria. It's like, it's got to be ceremonial grade. It's got to be certified organic. It's got to be like from the most ethical place. It has to be small batch. It can't be like huge volumes or quantities. It's got to be, they've got to speak to the plant like it's, their brother, sister, mother, father, right?
Yeah.
And we just thought this list is crazy. Like no one's going to be able to meet this criteria when it comes to ceremonial grade cacao. And then lo and behold, we have this phone call with a Peruvian man, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just in South America right now, and just visiting one of the the farms, and just letting you know, like, tick, 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 all your boxes." And I was like, "There's no way." So we received the sample, and we're both like obviously very in tune energetically with the vibration of items. Everything we hold, we feel that frequency. And as soon as we touched it, we're like, that's the one. Like this is what we need to go out with. This is what people need. So then we started working with the medicine. Beautiful, tastes amazing. It's so unheard of when it comes to cacao, like 100%. You just think, oh, it'd be so bitter. So like, no, it was none of that. It was almost sweet to the taste. So for us, that was like a real big message. Along the way, we just kept getting those taps, those, hey, here it is. It's like the universe kind of providing for you. So it's been a very organic transition of falling into this business and the spirit of cacao actually guiding us. And hence why the name of our business as well is also the Spirit of Cacao, because it's like leading and guiding us. But when it comes to Elyse and I, we have a history that goes way back, like I'm sure lifetimes ago as well.
Yeah.
But in this lifetime, we met when we were 15 years old. I had just moved to a new high school. For some reason, like I just wanted to be next to Elyse, and I didn't understand why at the time, but I was like, I'm going to make you my friend, and I'm going to make you like come to my group of friends. And
so
like,
you love me, Elyse.
yeah, love me. Like I love you. It started from that, and we've just been like close buddies since 15 years old. We're 32 this year. Wow. I mean, it's it's like ancient history now, that long ago, but yeah, the rest is really history.
I love that your first love child was chocolate, and like that is such a special gift to have with somebody. Like it, of all the COVID babies that have probably happened, last year, I think birthing a cacao one is probably up there on my list of things to subscribe to. So was definitely meant to be to have found you, and to even hear this story is just lighting me up, because I have so many questions coming from even just what you've said, but then there's going to be Elise's side of the story as to how she remembers meeting you as well, and how she sees this journey moving forward as well. So I'm really curious to hear your version of the story, Elyse, and like what your memories are from 15, and whether you remember Georgia being the one like, come here, or whether you felt that pull as well.
Definitely remember the day Georgia walked up to us. It was after sports lesson, and we were sitting up under an umbrella table. I remember it perfectly. And she walks over, and a friend of mine says, "This is a new girl, Georgia." I remember it clear as day, obviously meant to align. And she just was part of our group. And then she had obviously so many friends. She's such a bubbly, high energy, gorgeous girl, and we just kind of kept following each other around like the school and new friendship groups, and we just stuck by each other's side through everything. And then just life just took us everywhere. Just Elyse and Georgia, and it's definitely been a soul connection. I've never had a friend like that I can say I've been so drawn to and love so much before. So George's reenactment of it, or her memory of it is definitely true as well. So 15 years sounds like a while, but it's gone in the blink of an eye, and we've just grown together, and our journeys have just we've helped each other up. Like we've pulled each other up, we've guided each other, and we've bounced off each other so well. We're yin and yang. We're perfectly harmonizing with each other all the time. So that's why perfect partnership, pretty much. So with the Spirit of Cacao, I thought of this as you were speaking, Georgia. I still remember the day in your kitchen when we were kind of experimenting with the perfect recipe, and we're making a batch. And as Reiki Masters, we like to kind of put Reiki in our drinks or food sometimes. And I think I saw Georgia do one of the Reiki symbols on her cup, and then that kind of went, oh my goodness, we need to infuse all our beautiful products with Reiki and share this with all of our gorgeous customers. And that's how that little thing stemmed. Like all these taps on the shoulder have just come at perfect times. And when you don't look for things, they come and they flow, and oh my goodness. So there's that little elevation that we do just to set all our cacao blocks and all our spiritual tools with that Reiki energy as well, which we love doing those little ceremonies. Like everyone has a little bit of a ceremony in every cup as well. But back to the origin of Spirit of Cacao, it was definitely during COVID. There's a lot of things that float around on the internet, and you're looking at and you just research. And I've had ceremonial cacao before, of course, and just started trying some and buying some, and I'm like, wow, this is hitting really differently. And then we just started trying different samples and different companies. I'm like, it's good, but it's not like there's something missing. And it was one of those things, you don't go hunting for it. You just, cool, keep going on with your COVID life and work and everything. And then something else comes up. Oh, found this person. Oh, this or that. And it just flowed so naturally. I remember the conversation we had with our connection in Peru, and I think it was the first maybe 5 or 10 words he spoke. George and I just looked at each other, and we both felt the energy he was speaking. And we're like,
yes. Buy it all. I mean, sorry. Yes. How are you? What's going on?
like, I don't know what he's going to say next, but we love him and we love his energy.
Awesome.
And if he speaks like that, what does he speak to his cacao products like that? What does he speak to his entire team? Like it made us, we're almost in tears. And that conversation, just like, this is happening, was just it was solidified. Like it closed the deal. And from there, everything just ticked along so effortlessly. Like, you find time to do things, and it just happened. And there's no stress or anxiousness, or we've got to make this work or something. It just did. And it was organic, and it's still exciting. I still can't believe we've got a block of cacao that we get to share with you. It's a bit surreal. It's amazing.
I get excited listening. I'm like, I just want to be a part of it. And this is why I love interviewing people for their story, because it's like the people that are authentic are always going to have that passion there, regardless of the little knots along the way that always come up. Like, that's not just in business, but it's in life. And it's something that's obviously sticking for both of you. You didn't push it, but it just kept you. It's like, I don't know if you ever played Crash Bandicoot, but it's like the little ooga booga that shows up, and you're like, oh, okay, like cacao. I get it. I'm listening. Okay.
Yes.
That sounds crazy, but it's like, there's just no other way to explain it.
Yes. And just thinking of your journey from like the age of 15, I think, there was some obvious connection that you needed to cross paths, but as women, we go through so many like hormonal changes over life, and it's like just and like men too, like we go through that initiation from being like a teenager to I'm an adult, but I'm kind of still a child. And so I'm sure you've grown with each other through a lot of different phases, and I'm wondering whether that was always like a spiritual connection there with you as well, or like when that first moment you both realized that you were both into that connection with energy, which is something that is so much a part of your work and who you are now. And I'd just love to to see whether you remember that moment as clearly as the moment you remember Spirit of Cacao being born.
I do. It was maybe 10 years ago or so, I was exposed to my first like meditation community, and meditation is something I hadn't really dived into before or explored. And Georgia came along with me to, I think it was a weekend retreat, and it was probably then that it kind of sparked within me personally. And I was like, okay, we got even more in common. Cool. That's possible. And we kind of, for me, she was probably the first person that I started my spiritual journey with. And we went to meditation retreats together. We did a silent retreat together, which is clearly a bit hard, but we did it.
Yes.
So we kind of there's a lot of firsts, especially for myself, in the spiritual community with Georgia. And we've just done little things or new things together. Like, do you want to try and go to this random market this weekend? Sure, why not? It's always yes, like let's try things, no worries. Let's travel halfway across, the state to try something new or explore or go hiking. Like, yep, let's do it. Like, that's one thing I appreciate about Georgia is she'll never say no. And let's try it. Why not? Like, risk taker. Like, let's do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You learn something. So, so I'm very grateful to have her. I feel like she's definitely been a bit of a guide for me on my spiritual path, and she's definitely pushed and helped me grow and open my eyes to things, and obviously given me a different perspective. So she's definitely been a very big guide, and I'm not sure if I would be exactly where I am right now within myself or energetically or on this path if I hadn't met her. So I can definitely say there is 100% a connection, and that's it. I listened, and that's where I listened to my path, and I listened to the messages, and this is luckily, gratefully, where I am with Georgia in my life.
She's definitely a soulmate for sure, like on a very deep level, because you both seem like my sister and I, where it's like people go like, do sisters even talk like that? Because it seems like how you interact with each other, and it's like we must have known each other for lives and agreed to come together in this life to do another mission here, like, and I feel like that's what you two have as well. And it's such a special thing, like beyond even being a technical sibling, to find that person in this lifetime. Like, if you didn't walk up to them at that moment in school, like where would you be? And you'd be exactly where you needed to be, right? But like how magical life is now with you both just like joining forces and doing your own things at times, but coming together to have that mutual passion and excitement. I just feel so full, like when I hear both of you, because I get it, and I'm like, I want to hear Georgia's side of this now.
Relatable.
Yes.
It's funny how, like, when this is story medicine, like we share our stories around and we can all find that relatable piece of information that connects us, because we are all connected. So it's interesting to hear like your take. In regards to like me, like, wow, copy paste what Elyse said, because I just feel like all of that rings true to myself as well. So Elyse has always been like a very grounding force for me. So I am very much like a visionary, somebody who wants to like play in the clouds, and it may not be always realistic at times. And I guess I've been always, the risk taker. Like, I love to make mistakes, and I'm not really fazed by it either, because I'm like, everything's a lesson.
Yeah.
Looking back and reflecting, it's like, wow, everything does happen exactly how it should, and everything, it's like divine order. It is simply amazing. But defining moment for me in our kind of soul connection or relationship is all the kind of spiritual pilgrimages we've taken together. So before I even knew what ceremony was, it was like I was introduced to that from Elise's family, and something as simple as like going on a road trip. Her father introduced a few concepts of like letting go and stopping at bridges and let go of, and just like those memories will be with me forever.
Wow.
They're just unforgettable. And yeah, and it's funny how these little moments that just seem like moments, when you look back, it's like that is ceremony in every day. Like those simple acts that change the trajectory of your life in the direction you need to go in. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today without Elyse in my life. And we definitely do have some form of past life history. And it's funny because like, even though we kind of know that, we just like accept it. We don't even really need to get, we're like, no, we know. And that's all we need to know. We just know. And I love that. It's so wholesome.
And I think that's where like wisdom and grace is built as well. Like when you don't feel like you need to overcomplicate something, you don't even feel the need to talk. And it's like, I know I'm purely just basing this off my sister and I as well, as to what I feel with you two. And it's like you could talk all day long and never run out of anything to say, but doing something like the silent retreat, or if you were, you know, forced to be in silence, you would be able to like know what was going on. It's just, it's a connection that you have. And it always reminds me of Bridesmaids. Like we communicate simply by a look. It's like, they have that like wedding. I'm sure you girls have seen it, just knowing your personality. It's like you probably say that to each other. But Georgia, I love what you said as well. Yeah. I was loving what you were saying about, you know, your defining moment of where you kind of realize what ceremony was to you, because we get so caught up in the West as like putting labels on things, and you know, it forms our identity and it helps us speak the same language as each other, which makes it easy to communicate. But when we get too caught up in what something should be versus just what it purely is, we can get really like, just, I don't know, I feel like that moves into that egoistic world, and or just almost dualistic world, which is the world that we do live in. And you know, like I guess if we're speaking in the terms of spirit and energy and the points of meditation where we are all one and there's non-dualism, it can be sometimes challenging to live in the world where people are like, well, this is healthy and that's healthy and this is ceremony and that's religion, and you're like, it all just is, just leave me alone, like how do I get here? But what does ceremony mean to you now? Like, what if you were to simplify it in like the most like 3 words or something, or 1 word, what does ceremony actually mean to you in this moment or moving forward?
Existence.
Connection.
Yeah, I love it.
Connection, truth, or like the original connection.
May I ask what star signs both of you are?
Virgo.
Virgo.
I'm a Leo.
Leo.
Leo with a Virgo cast.
Nice. Do you know have you ever done your Vedic astrology, like what your rising sign is?
Yes. I have it on my phone.
Yes. Oh, you remind me so much of
exciting
somebody.
Information. I need to keep it housed.
Oh, I totally. Elyse, I feel like you remind me of someone, like I've met you before. I don't know if you're reminding me of Kate Miller-Heidke or somebody else, and I'm like, who are you and where have we met? But yeah, bizarre. To keep this, oh, have you got it? Do you know what your rising sign is, Georgia?
Yes, Aquarius.
Aquarius. Yeah, you're the communication and the fire. So you've got air and fire.
Good times.
Yeah, I've got air and fire in my signs because I'm just like, I relate to you more in how you are, Georgia, but I'm like, I can see how, yeah, that balancing effect of Elyse would be really grounding for you. Like, they're the friends that I need, of like, sometimes it's like, no, we're not doing that. It's like, okay, cool. Yep. Sure.
So we're not going skydiving.
Yeah, sure. Literally just
take that off.
Take that off. Not possible. Okay. Cross friend off list.
I think my rising is Libra.
Nice. That's my sister's.
Pisces.
Pisces. Ah, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that was just my little sidetrack of like how I am. But I had a question in regards to cacao, and when both of your first like ceremonial cacao was it together?
No, it wasn't together. It was at a ceremony, like a sound healing ceremony, and they closed with the cacao ceremony. Amazing. And I was like, this isn't hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, and then that's
like blessed by a shaman
for real cacao. And I was like, this is, something different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you both did share your first cacao together moving forward in, particularly with this Peruvian man and his family and farm and his cacao itself, I just want you both to explain the first one you made together with that, and like, what, if you want to share the intention, that would be really cool, but if it's sacred, like, don't feel the need to share it. I would just love to hear how you prepared it, how you set up the house, and just what you did for that.
Should I let you answer this one, Elyse?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure if I'm lagging or
not. So it was at Georgia's house, and it was during the daytime. It was a very calm day. I still remember the energy in the house. It was just really like calm. Palo Santo, the area. Our cacao, and we opened it up, and the smell was just like, it just gave us chills. We just felt chills just from, and we've had a couple of samples before that, and nada. So that in itself, like, okay, there's a definitive energy within this product. And we chopped it up. So first of all, our cacao block came like this.
Oh my God.
That is how that blocks come. And we looked at this like, oh my goodness, I feel like a goddess right now. So it just feels like I have so much power in my hands. And we saw this, and we just chopped it off. And we were both standing side by side at every single point at the chopping block, and then we stood side by side at the stove. And I believe Georgia may have come across, or through word of mouth, had a lovely cacao recipe. So we tried that. It was with, I believe it was water and a little bit of almond milk. So we used some coconut oil and some cinnamon, and we heated up really gently, and then we added the shaved cacao in there as well, and we blended it. And that, just the smell of the whole kitchen was just something intoxicating to us. It was absolutely amazing. We went somewhere else. We weren't in the suburbs anymore. So that first sip, we both closed our eyes, and it was just like silence. It was just like white noise. It was calm. And it was a bit crazy, like, wow. It was just a wow moment. Like, this is something special. And from there, we just stood in the kitchen, and we couldn't believe it. Almost a bit of silence between us, and but excitement, but silence. And we could feel it in our body, especially our chest. Like, this just really, we could feel it working quite a lot in our chest. It was amazing. That was
I can feel it.
Yeah.
It's like if
Yeah.
someone knocked on the door and you open, they'd be like, you're definitely stoned. It's like, we are definitely not, but I can understand that we look that way. Like,
We get a lot of feedback
yeah.
similar to that degree.
Yes. I have had that before. People like, are you a stone? I'm like, I've actually like, no, like I don't. I think when you see the beauty in all of these little things and you like really connect to minute details, like that's probably a similar feeling to when people might sound a bit spacey or up in the clouds like Georgia was saying, but it's like, no, that's where like life is at. And I love it when you chat to people and they really get that similar language, because it's like, oh, finally I can just speak without having to justify. It's like, no weed background, like I'm clean, like leave me alone.
Yeah. I'm just genuinely happy. I'm
Yeah,
really
right.
so happy.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like bringing ceremony into the Western culture, like that is something that I think has such beauty and elegance and like power moving forward, like power with knowledge. And I love that it's such an enjoyable thing, because whenever I think of cacao, like my hands naturally just go like this, and I just want to like cup a little cup, like it's like the cup shouldn't have handles. And so yeah, do you guys have your cup, do you have them here, like the ones that you normally use, or are they?
I don't have mine on me.
I do have a little cup. Yes, I can go get that.
Yeah, I want to see it. Is it ceramic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the point that you make about like ceremony. Like it's something that we're always learning about, and especially like from a shamanic based, practice. When, it's all about, for me, I'm not just talking about this lifetime. It's
Right.
about all my lifetimes. It's about like my blueprint, my DNA, and where that comes from. And we can have thousands of lifetimes. Bring ceremony to the West is such an interesting concept, because the West is quite unique and different. So you cannot just replicate something that you take from overseas and bring it here and expect it to have that same effect. It doesn't work that way. Something that a lot of people don't know about ceremony and cacao is that there's actually no such thing as a cacao ceremony in Peru.
Wow.
So people were thinking that, hang on a second, all these types of ceremonies we do in the Western world, where we all get together and we all share cacao and we go on a journey and it's plant medicine, that never happened in Peru or the Mesoamerican region. What their origin with it is if there was an occasion to celebrate, like a wedding or a young man coming of age and going on his journey, they would put like a little sticky note on that date by just mixing a bit of maize flour to represent the maize god as an offering, and then a little bit of cacao for the cacao god, right?
Wow.
And then they would just sip on that. So a bit of water, a bit of maize flour and cacao, and that was a moment in time solidified in everybody's memory. So cacao is such a luxurious, hard to come by, in a sense that it was just seen as a very special occasion. So when we say about ceremony in the West, it's like we've created our own ceremonies and they work in the West because they were created in the West. And that's a beautiful thing. There's nothing better than that when it comes to ceremony. And I feel like whatever we do, we need to always make it applicable to the energy of where we reside and make offerings to that land and space. And yeah.
I just love you two girls, and I'm just like, I 100% know that when I get cacao from you, that it's going to be so blessed with such beautiful energy. And like, this is what it's all about. It's about that connection and understanding people's story behind why they do what they do, because there is so many things out here now. It's much like I associate a lot of things to yoga, because I've been in that world for a very long time, and you see that yoga in the West is very different to how it's traditionally taught and understood. And yoga is a state of being as well as a means of getting to that state. And people can get carried away with the physicality side of it, which is just one part of it. And I'm sure that people can, I'm in your field, you would have people that are doing the pretty work. And what I love about you two is that there's all of this history, and it's like you said, it's not just about this lifetime now, and it's not just about your lifetime. It's like about the families and the farmers and where that story came from. And it's like this education, and you have such a beauty about not sounding angry or like frustrated, but just genuinely here to share and to serve. And that just makes my heart feel so alive. And I'm like, oh, you girls are just beautiful.
Thanks. That's so nice.
Now show me your
It's
cup.
definitely
Oh my God. Yes.
Actually handmade and fired.
I was gonna say, did you? Of course you did. Yeah. Amazing. Oh my God. The
cool
Reiki
thing too, right?
Yes.
It amplifies like only your intention, but the liquid inside becomes like power in itself. It's like super quick way to manifest whatever it is that you put in there. It's great, whatever intention is.
Do you
but
make
also segue,
them?
With clay, we had that one made for us, but we do make them. Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, our own frequency. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But clay apparently, well, it is. It has all 4 elements. So like your water, fire, air, the earth, right? And the same with cacao. So cacao and your clay, it's like the ultimate vessel for it, right? It's just like a meeting of 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Just little things like that you can do to really up your
experience.
Yeah. Yes. The real question is, when are we hanging out and when are we doing a cacao ceremony? Because I just feel like I need to meet you in person. This is ridiculous. I just love you too. And I feel like I'd have to bring my sister, because she looks like you, Georgia. And I've got the blonde features of you, Elyse. It'd be like if she was just underneath right now in this little gallery of Zoom. It'd be like, what is this parallel? I feel like the end of last year and this year, it has been like a crazy parallel people coming in. I'm like, what is even happening? Stop questioning it. It's just happening.
Yeah, it is. And it's all for the greater good. Like ever since taking this journey together as well, like we recognized that we're finally attracting the people that we've always wanted to attract in our lives. And that was because we started showing up as ourselves in spaces where, we can be ourselves. It's like no surprise, right? It's like finally, we can be ourselves and be celebrated for that and meet people who are genuine and nice. And all you want to do is like connect, share vibes. That's what it's about.
It is. I have this conversation so much with people close to me of like, we try so hard to get to where we're going, and then we realize like success and fulfillment is everything we already have. And if you can, have that mindset in every moment moving forward, it's like, oh, like I am grateful, or this is exactly how it needs to be. If you do have a greater vision, and sometimes you don't always feel like you're exactly where you want to be, but if you just take that cup of cacao, you take that breath and you stand there and you're like, this is exactly in this moment what I've needed to do. Like whether it was in your like design or fashion, or whether it was in the other business stuff, and you go like, this is not it. Like I know it's not it. And then the cacao baby gets born and all of that database gathering from years ago comes into play. Like, I'm sure that all of your work before here has helped with the business side and has helped with just formulating your vision moving forward. So that's just, yeah, it's just the best. Like, gets me so pumped. Have I frozen? I can hear things, but I'm slowly moving here. I'm just going to talk to myself.
Okay.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit. Yeah, we're not breaking up. We're staying together, guys, but the internet connection is breaking up. Yes, so usually I ask people like a lot about, you know, who their teachers have been along the way. And as much as I'd love to ask you about like the resources that you've used, I feel like the teacher side or the mentor side is something that I'd be more passionate to hear for both of you, and whether they've been similar people or whether they've been your own individual people along the way. So we can start with you, Georgia, up the top, if we can get some good internet.
I hope so. So in terms of mentors, it's like, oh, this is going to sound really strange, so I don't know how deep we can really go, but I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
Mine have really come from the spiritual realm. I've never really identified or really gotten too into like real life people teaching me or anything like that. I've had some shamans along the way and mediums and stuff who have kind of guided me or initiated me. But my work is mostly in the non-ordinary. So everything that I've learned has been like esoteric or has been received from above. And it's always been like tuning into that voice and going from there. And a lot from the dreaming space as well. So in terms of mentors, it's probably, yeah, don't really have any that are, I don't know, on this plane.
Yeah. Do you have names for them, or like, can you almost see them, or are they like, could you explain that? Because I love that kind of stuff.
So it's never a seeing, it's more of like a hearing and a knowing, like a touch and a hear kind of situation. Everything that I receive in terms of like visual is always a message. So it's never like them showing up as themselves. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know that I have always had a very large ancestral lineage that have supported me. So like whenever I would, it's just been a common theme in my life. Like I would go get readings or people would just meet me because, you know, you're in the spiritual community and they would just say like, whoa, you have so many people around you. Like, you know, they just can't fit in the room right now. Like, wow, pretty cool. Like, you know, good on you.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
pretty fun like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you're divinely guided moving forward. That's pretty cool. And we all are, if we can tune into it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We really all are.
Yeah.
And it just takes practice and time and patience to just sit and tune in.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, for myself, I guess I could probably pinpoint maybe 2 people that have been consistent in my life that have probably just kind of helped prod me along. I wouldn't really say I've ever had a mentor as such, but definitely a lot of guidance through some certain people. So one lady who actually started off as my masseuse, her name is Tracy. Thanks, Tracy. She does remedial massage, but she's also a medium. She was able to kind of guide me quite a bit with messages. She does energy reading. She's Reiki. Wears so many hats. I'd be here all night naming them all. But she's been a consistent person in my life. Even till now, I still see her. And I think mainly in the last maybe 2 years, she's really been helping my spiritual growth. And I know that she's someone that I can definitely trust and rely on, and I can open up to her about things or ask her questions. And she knows me on a very physical level, obviously through massage, and she knows my energy like from when I was a teenager to this point. So she's definitely been someone that's kind of just guided me a little bit. I've never really been one to go out and find a mentor. I guess they come to you when needed, but someone else that I know has definitely guided me is a friend called Elias, and he's just someone I'm very grateful to have come in my life. And I think he's probably helped me project right into my spiritual growth. And he's like, this is how things are, and this is like, he opened my eyes so wide, and my third eye, mind you, as well. And he gave me practice this meditation or this technique, or and he was just raw and straight to the point. And while it was a bit of like a whoa, cool, after a little while in practicing, like, oh my goodness, this is also real. This is just wow, amazing. So very grateful for those two people. And I think maybe the last 3 years or so, I've just, similar to Georgia, I get the guidance, like that inner knowing from like my ancestors. So in particular, my grandma, who passed about 20 years ago now, I'm more in tune with her, and I kind of get messages of knowing from her. Sometimes I hear her, but she's probably my otherworldly mentor. That it's nice because that's how you really know that other world exists, and there's messages coming from above, and like what Georgia was saying as well. They're there for a reason. They prod you along. So yes, they've been my mentors.
I have questions. Yeah, go.
Sorry.
Go. No, go, please.
Elias, I cannot even believe that I literally, like, every day he comes up in conversation. He even came up today, like, there's just little nuggets of gold, like little things he's like spoken about that have just activated me and really like solidified my path. And he was even there at the conception of the naming of Spirit of Cacao. Like I was saying, like, it's cacao. It's like, there's like a living energy within it. And he's like spirit of cacao. And I was like,
Elias,
really good,
I
dude.
love you. Yes. And my thing was about Elias too. I was like, I feel like we should get him on here and do like a 4-way and just... Why amazing. Is he not here? Like, he's here in spirit, obviously, but why was he 100%. Not invited?
His story, like, you definitely need to get him on. His story is ridiculous.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
He's currently up on the Sunshine Coast, and he's just another level. You'll never meet a dude like him ever, or a soul. Yeah, he's definitely.
I love his name, like Elias. That just, like, I feel like it's spelt with an E, but like I just think of like Elias, like alias. Like, it's he sounds awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing. I'll flick you his details.
Dude, if he'd be keen to come on, I'd love to get his story. I'm all about that kind of stuff. And I love, like, hearing different people's ways of how they've felt guided along the path. Like, there's some people who come into this world, that feel that connection with energy from, when Georgia speaks. It's like, I feel like that's been for a very long time, and that's a confident knowing. Whereas I love it also hearing Elyse, and it gives it that real aspect of like the everyday people that are in our worlds, that person that we walk past in the street, the person who serves us at the grocery store, Tracy, the massage therapist, like, who wears all of these hats. It's like, they're the goddesses, and they're the ones who are like on the floor with you. And it's like, they're probably returning for no other reason than to just be angels on this earth. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know you girls will understand that language. And I love seeing people like that, or hearing stories about people like that, because it's such a special thing. Like, we all have our family. We all, we have like our mothers, brothers, sisters, fathers, like biological and of the earth too. But I love hearing when people just have their their friend or like their massage therapist is that person who has really connected you to yourself and made you feel safe and loved to keep putting all of this good work out there. It's just like, yeah, it's such a special thing.
It's amazing who
Really
just meet and how they just pop into your life, and everything obviously happens for a reason, but when you start looking back at things and how that little thing has just blown up, you're like, just wow, this has guidance from somewhere, and it has to be on a plan or path. Like it's mind-boggling. I love it.
It is. Yeah. And has this do you reckon like this deeper connection has been catalyzed by having cacao? Like I feel like it has such a deep impact on both of you that like how long have you been using it, and how long have you been like, have you felt that progression of intensity with like your connection, or has it felt just like a coming home with it in a sense?
Is this like connection to self or with each other, or just like
I was thinking self, but whatever you want it to be.
Cool. I'll take over then. For cacao, I think it's probably been like 4 years of like drinking it on and off, and like kind of even longer, I would say, because you know how you go through that journey of self-discovery and you go from like a holistic healing type of way of like, okay, cacao is good for you, I'm going to give that a go. It starts off as that, but then you start getting into the wrong stuff, like doing powders, and all of a sudden it's like, hang on a second, like that's not the real deal. Like then you discover like cacao mass, which is, you know, the ceremonial grade type of stuff, and it's also where it's, you know, foraged from, what type of bean it is. It's a whole lot to it, right? So when we started getting into that, which is probably like the last 2 years predominantly, and I feel like I wish I got into it so much sooner, because, well, it made its way into my life probably 3 years ago. Yeah, through ceremony. And then ever since then, it's just been like this progression. And it's like the tap on the shoulder again, right? It's like, remember, you need me. Like, you need me. Like, I'm here to help you. Like, we're friends now. It's literally like a mentor and a buddy in itself that like holds your hand and goes, hey, I'm here. Like, I can help you with this. I'm a helping hand. So that's kind of been like my journey, and from discovery to really getting into it and having it almost as a daily practice or ritual, like with great intention and ultimate respect. Obviously not doing a ceremonial dose every day. This is just like your daily kind of 20-gram ritual. It's just elevated everything in my life. Like, it does really help you come back to center. The fact that it's infused with Reiki is just another way. Like, I practice Reiki on myself every day as well. But just having that together in one, and that it just starts off my day right. I cannot even describe like the days that I don't have it is so noticeable for me. And it's just, it's sometimes hard to just sit with myself and be like, all right, let's integrate. You know, today is a day of integration rather than a day of ceremony. Like, how do I maneuver through this day in a way like where I'm centered and conscious?
Yeah.
It's a wild, interesting, fun ride. I love it.
What time of morning do you get up to do your cacao daily?
Definitely fluctuates for me. I have a 12-month-old daughter.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
She keeps me busy. So she wakes up around 6:37, and then it'll just be anywhere from there that I choose like to do it. I generally like to take my time and for it to be more quiet. And that's where I can actually sit and set my intention for the day. And it's nothing special. Like with me and connecting, it's very quick. And when you get to that space, you don't have to do anything, I guess, special or magical. It's just about having intention and feeling that connection. And as soon as that is obtained, it's just like off you go. And the rest of your day is ceremony as well. It's intentional. Yeah.
Oh, yes. How about you, beautiful Elyse? What does your daily schedule kind of look like? I also want to know what the ceremonial dose is compared to the daily dose that you take.
Well, for myself, I love getting up early. I just love to watch the sunrise, and I like to just have time. I don't like to rush, especially since really making that time in the last maybe year and a half to have that cacao and to sit with myself. I've been making a lot more time for myself instead of quick cup of tea, get ready out the door, or something like that. It definitely allows me just to stop and just for everything to be centered to this one point, and it's being present for me. So I'm up at maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30, I'll make my cacao and I'll just sit. I try not to use any technology in the morning anyway. So that first deep breath and sit, it really awakens you. And ever since practicing my little cacao ritual every morning for the last year and a bit, there's less mind chatter. I don't overthink. I'm more grounded. I was never really much of an emotional or crazy person or anything, but I just feel so much more calm. Or it's almost like my energy is maintained as well. And days that I don't have it, I might have a chai or something in the morning. I can tell it's a difference. And I feel so grounded. Like I can walk steady throughout the whole day, and I'm within my body, like, and I'm within myself for the whole day as well. So I use about 15 to 20 grams. I've only done a couple of ceremonial doses, which is about 50 grams. That was a deep meditation experience, and I set up my space beautifully. I protected my space and cleansed it, and I just sat with the cacao, and I just sipped it throughout like an hour as I needed it, with some beautiful music and some drumming, and I was glued to the floor. It was so grounding, and my heart just felt so open and free and just full of love, and I felt like I was a beam of light. And just little I didn't have any intention as such. I just felt like giving love back to Mother Earth on that particular day. I'm like, just love you, Mother Nature, like thanks for your gift. And that was probably my intention, just some thanks, and I love myself, and thank you for putting me here. And it was just a bit of a gratitude meditation, and it was special. It was lovely.
When you think of the color of cacao and that beautiful, like when I think of it, I just taste earth, like that's it in its element, and it's not that dirty earth. It's like, it's kind of sometimes like tasting beetroot juice that is like from proper beetroot out of the ground. You're like, it kind of tastes a bit strange. I'm not overly used to it, but the more you have it, the more you realize, like, so many of us are in this like spinning chaos, and while we might feel grounded and centered, there's all of this chaos going on around us. And I'm sure you both have a lot of that fire and water element too. So when we get the earth and we get that, like, I can actually just stop. And this 5 minutes has felt like it's been, an hour. And then you actually sit for an hour, and it feels like you've given yourself this amazing moment of self-care. And I really do encourage so much for people to step on board this train of making a time in your day of giving back to you, but giving back to Mother Earth, as well as what Elyse was saying and what Georgia, I'm sure, feels as well. Because when we feel gratitude for something bigger than ourselves, it brings so much more beauty into the world, but into our day, because we're not stepping into it assuming what the situation is going to be, or we're not stepping into resentment or frustration and all of these qualities that it might be so easy to get caught up in. And something as simple as making a cacao, or learning that with these beautiful ladies, like, look at what they do on their social media, look how I found them, look at the conversations we're having now. I feel like I could just go all night buzzing off this kind of energy. And I'm like, I need to order like blocks, and I want to do this with groups of people, and I want to do it with you too. And I'm like, oh, okay, I probably need to just have a cup and chill out. But I'm sure this is how the business idea started as well, of like, oh, we could do this and we could do that. It's like, let's just have a cup and we will figure the rest out as it comes.
I know, it's almost like I'm so excited about the possibilities, and there is so much. Like, if you see, like, our wish list is just like never ending. But we've made like and you know, you'll see this spotted throughout our Instagram as well, like we've made this connection with the Spirit of Cacao, and we said, look, like, we respect you and we want to work with you and your wishes, so you kind of like let us know like how you want to unfold, and we'll just be like your messengers, like kind of tell your story. And it might be really unorthodox, but I think this is the only way we can really go about it for us. It's about the medicine and what it wants, not so much like, you know, what we want at the end of the day.
It's beautiful. I keep getting that behind Georgia. I feel, it's like, I'm not someone who goes, oh, you've got guides or anything. I honestly feel like behind your left shoulder is where I feel that like ooga booga just there. It's like that totem pole kind of going, like whenever you talk about, oh, they're just there telling me this message, it's like that's the image I get every time that you speak of it. And it's like, I know that they're there guiding you both. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's so powerful to connect at that level, and again to use what we have from all around us and above, or not even above and below, but just what is existing in the world, to go show me the way. And if we ask the question, the answer is already there, and it's found its way into Elyse's and Georgia's lives so beautifully. And I'm so proud of you both for grabbing onto it and going like, stuff it, we're going to make this work, and to what you've created, because it would be so easy to just keep going in your lives. And so many people do that. They get these callings and they say, you know, they could be older and go, oh, you know, back in the day I was going to do this and I was going to do that. And it's like, you're the people that have said yes, and you've gone, no, we did everything like that. We heard those callings too. And yeah, like, where do you see this moving forward? Do you see this as being the main thing, or do you have your own separate gigs that you've kind of established and are quite happy in as well? Whoever wants to answer
first.
This is going to be very big.
Yeah, I feel it.
We love an offering, just a wide range of offerings. We want to do like hold ceremonies as well. That's a really big thing. We absolutely love doing our markets, but we want to do that on a grander scale. Yes. Why not Australia?
Why not? Honestly, like, Australia's thinking small. Like, come on, let's get real. People will be requesting you internationally, I'm sure.
Sounds good to me. We'd absolutely love to, you know, to visit the plantations ourselves, travel permitting, of course, but and see these plants and meet the plants ourselves. That is like right at the top of the wish list, and meet the people behind it, and give them gratitude and hugs.
Yeah.
Hug all the trees.
Yeah.
A lot of offerings and work service to the land there as well. Like, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I can see that. Will you have to build your team outside of, like, when you guys just say if you're doing that, or do you solely want to keep it the special energy between you two?
The right people come along, you never know.
Yeah,
everything is about alignment for us, everything.
Yeah.
And it's all about, like, I mean, we already have a lot of special people in our lives, even like new people that are soul connections that we've met that have already put their hand up to be like, we need this, like, in my studio, we need this here, we need that. So another extension of us, like, we want to be first to market when it comes to providing it to specialty stores. Like, especially in Victoria, there's just there's just nothing really here. I mean, if you go to Byron Bay, it's pretty much on a lot of the supermarket specialty store shelves.
Yeah.
So we want to definitely get the word out there along here. And another big dream of mine, and I know it's Elise's as well, because we've discussed it, is cafes.
Yeah.
Like,
I have been saying this for ages as well. I'm like, you cannot go to a cafe, like it's either chocolate shavings or like, you know, a fairly nice hot chocolate or something. But I'm like, I cannot wait for the day that I walk into a cafe and they have cacao, like just that being a thing. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like just in terms of health as well. Like, and I know that's like health is a very basic level, but that's where a lot of people are entering in from. And then, you know, even on that entry level of like, introducing that new thing, and then that energetic connection can be formed from there. Like I just feel different when I have it. And I know I certainly feel like, I'm ordering blocks from you. That's all I'm saying.
But you literally hit the nail on the head, like when you said it doesn't matter how it gets out there as long as it's accessible. And for whatever reason people are drawn to it, whether it is they do love hot chocolate and they think it is just hot chocolate but just more of a healthier version, that is an entryway, you know, into what is for them could be already them on their journey of where they're trying to get to. Like they could have the intention of, I want to be a better person, I want to connect deeper, I want to, you know, all these wants. It's actually, so you're 100% right. I love that. I'm totally in agreement.
Well, I have a vision to open a cafe, and I when that day happens, I know who I'll be going to, because I love making, I think I just love cafe vibes of genuinely making people's days. And I've had, you know, many different jobs that have been random, and I think I've had many lives before that's like, I've learnt that, okay, moving on to this. But now I'm in that space of like, I just want to be lighting people up wherever I go. And I think it's such a accessible point in cafes. But to do that, like I've even had visions of like, it'd have like the cacao or like the coffees or whatever it would be, and then it's like, you know, an extra shot of love, and like that would go to charity or something like that, where you just go, people would feel so much better drinking that. Like, and when we know like the power of our mind with what we eat and digest, it infuses in such a different way. So I am so excited to feel, you know, that experience with the cacao when I order some and get that shipped over. And I'm like, I think I would have to do it by myself first, but I might also get my sister to do it with me too, because she's a very close and special person to me. So that would be really, really cool.
It's so beautiful. Love it. I'm just nodding my head so much. I just feel like I'm, you know, head banging this whole
me too.
time. I'm like, this is so wholesome. Yes.
Yes, I know. I feel like are we best friends? This just happened. I'm saying it. I'm calling it. Okay, guys.
Well, we wanted to go to WA, so.
Well,
you
know where. Come hither. Yeah, honestly. Get out of Melbourne. Seriously. You probably need to spread the light there, but I'm sure the lockdown's been pretty frustrational.
Yeah. It's an interesting ride in Melbourne. Definitely. The city does need a lot of love, and I think a lot of people who don't live in Melbourne don't really realize the impact that it's had, like I guess on the entire sentiment. So it's not as vibrant and bright and, you know, city nightlife as it used to be. It's pretty somber at the moment. So whatever love anyone can give to us, send that over. We'll like hold on to it.
100%. What is your like access to the amount of cacao that you have? Like if I bought 1 million blocks, like is that a reasonable amount to order from you, just for people listening if they want to get some, because I feel like it's such a specialty block. Like how much do you get shipped over at a time?
So we're doing small batch at the moment. However, we have asked them if they're able to supply more. They definitely said yes. So I mean, if we did want to purchase, just say 30,000 at a time, we could do that. I don't know how many times in a row we could do that, but yeah, it's a pretty rare type of cacao. It's called the Criollo, which is it makes up less than 10% of the world's entire supply of cacao.
Wow.
And it's also wild crafted and grown, which means like you don't rely, it's not like a type of tree that can survive in an environment that like gets infested by some kind of disease. Like the plant is very temperamental. It does need to be untouched. It does need to be wildly grown in its natural environment. So you can't use pesticides. It's GMO free. So, and completely certified organic. If anybody knows anything about those certifications alone, it's pretty much impossible to get them these days. And it grows in the environment like along the Amazon basin, which is very, very far away from the jungle. So it doesn't ever touch any endangered areas. But the conditions, the environment is just like, the soil is top notch. You can't get much better when it comes to ecosystems, when it comes to the Amazon basin and jungle. Like, you know, they are the lungs of the earth, really. So it is very, very special, and we're very grateful. But even if this is never going to be a medicine that can get abused, in the sense that if there was more demand, then the supply would not go up. It would just be a waiting list. So it is what it is. Like for us, when we say like, you know, we're not in this in terms of we want to turn over profit to the point where it's like ridiculous. It's not about that. It's like we're doing this for the love. And when you start up any business, you need to have love for it. Because majority of the time you're not doing it for the money.
100%. Wow. The thing that makes my heart sing in this as well is that what you're bringing to Australia is supporting a whole family and village somewhere else. And I, for some reason, get this feeling that discovering him has basically set him up for the rest of his life and who he's with. And I'm not sure what position he was in before, but I just don't get the feeling he was as big as he would have been by taking that chance to connect with both of you. So that's a pretty special gift. And for anyone ordering through these ladies, it's like to think of, or anything that you purchase that is local, and you can find the family who it's from. Just think of it in terms of like the messengers, that you're just paying money to the next person who's supporting the next person who's supporting the next ancestor, lifetime, Mother Earth. And I really do love supporting local and small businesses as well. So for anyone listening or watching, do get in contact with these ladies. They're so genuine as they are here. And I'm definitely sold even more by it, just by talking to you and understanding the story and the mission. So it's really cool.
Yeah, we're always looking at, like, no matter who we supply from, it's got to have that story, that connection, that even we have a few other little products on our store that everything has a story. Everybody is a family, you know, and it's generational based as well. Like, it's just very special. I love that. I'm all for it.
Girls, I could honestly chat to you both all night. Normally I let these run for an hour, but I feel like if I don't cut it off pretty soon, I could probably chat till midnight, and it will get way too late for you two because I'm 2 hours behind your time. So I know that you've got a little one, Georgia and Elyse. I'm sure you both respect your bedtimes too. So I would love for you to both go out with like your legacy or just something that is coming to you right now that you feel like you need to share. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose or worded amazingly. I would just love to hear, something that's coming through for you right now.
I'll go first. So what I'd like to share to everyone is that you are your own healer. So listen to your body. Your body knows what it wants and needs. I've got my Ayurvedic hat on and also like my natural healer hat on as well. So just tune in and respect. And we've come from the earth. We will return to the earth. So the earth will provide us with what we need in terms of food, medicine, etc., oxygen and water. So just go back to your roots and find out anything you need or any assistance you need. Like, you've got the answers within. And yeah, thank you.
Needed that.
That was wholesome.
Mm.
Seeing if anything's coming through, if there's any messages. The one thing that only popped in for me was, if anyone is listening and they're looking for a way to connect to their soul's mission, or to, we never ever truly know ourselves, if that makes sense. But if you're in a space where you don't know where to turn, something that has impacted my life and completely transformed it is Reiki. And not just receiving Reiki from the healer, but receiving an attunement, which is like going and doing your Reiki 1, 2, 3, 4. It's absolutely life-changing. And I guarantee that you will not be the same person when you went in till when you get your 3rd or 4th attunement. It is beyond anything I've ever experienced. Yeah, for sure.
That is like the definition of initiation, really, not being something before and coming out on the other side. And, even those mini ceremonies that you have each morning with your cacao, it's like you step more into yourself every day, and it's like clearing those illusions. And that's what I love about the stuff that you do and the stuff that we're all into, is like, how do we keep clearing back all of that muck and the illusion that we can get caught up in at times, to step more into who we are, so that we're not worried about aging, we're not worried about dying, we're not worried about the next step, we're just in the moment. And you both do that so gracefully and so beautifully, and you can tell that your business is going to boom in its own success. So what success means for you both. And I just know that you're attracting the right people just from the very authentic roots that this has all come from. So where can people find you? I'll include this in the show notes and in the podcast and in YouTube, but for you to speak for where people can best get in contact with you and look at what you offer.
So our website is spiritofcacao.com.au, and on our page as well, it has all our offerings, but we also love doing markets. So we'll update the page with any upcoming markets that we will be attending, and we go all across Victoria.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you want to chat and like DM or just find out more, definitely Instagram, and that's just at spiritofcacao_, and you'll see like a brown and like light cream background image for our logo. So that's us. And yeah, we absolutely love connecting with like-minded people. So don't ever be afraid to reach out or say hi, anything. Even just tell us one of your experiences, or like if you want to share something, We'd probably share it on our stories too, just for fun.
Yes. Oh, you girls are just so my cup of cacao, and I just freaking love yous. And I've appreciated your time and energy and laughs and wisdom and just everything. It's like, I know that when the borders open that way and everything gets a little bit more, I don't even know if normal's a word anymore, it gets just a little bit more flowing. And when you're traveling for all of the stuff that you'll be doing in business, let's connect. Let's actually make this happen and have a cup together and hang out, whether I'm your way or you're where I am. Let's do it.
You already know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
100%.
The universe is already doing it.
It's happening. Yeah.
It is happening. Don't worry about it.
Oh, and your girl will probably be a little bit bigger then.
She'll be coming with me.
Yeah.
She'll be selling blocks on the side of the road.
Has she got your dark features?
Yeah, she's got like dark hair, but then she's got my partner's eyes. So she's got light eyes and dark hair. So I'm like,
damn girl. Yeah. Little stunner. It's like you can definitely sell the cacao just for cute factors and like
your soul.
Yes. Oh, let's reorganize another chat and maybe we can get I want to say Elias, if I got that right. Yeah, let's get Elias on and make something like that happen. And yeah, I just feel like that should happen, just like how we should be catching up in person.
Yes,
that's like a dream come true. Like incorporating Elias into like anything. He's just
wicked. Yeah. Is he relatively busy, or is he someone who'd be like, no, let's make it work?
He'll make it work.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Why don't we you know, it would be really cool is that I'm going to order some cacao anyway, but it would be really cool to do it on like a full moon or something, and we could all like sit and have a Zoom cacao or something together and just chat.
Do you know what's crazy? We do a full moon meditation every month.
Yes, done.
We actually host them in Melbourne. Obviously, you know, when COVID's not interrupting our schedules.
Yeah.
But it's always like, you know, either a couple of days before or after, because obviously we hire a space and it's just like never available on the full moon.
Yeah.
But yes, so we should definitely be able to make it work on full moon.
Let's do it. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is around the full moon vibe too. It was
it is.
Yeah, it's a really nice energy.
Yeah. This one was pretty good for me. I've heard some very differing opinions, but
I like
it. This one.
Very happy energy. Yeah.
I felt good too. I felt like the week prior, I was feeling like a little bit drawn into everything that was happening. And then as soon as like, it was like the day or so before the full moon, I just felt this like sense of stuff it, like fresh start, clean slate kind of feel. And yeah, it's just been really steady since then. It's like, okay, like I can actually just be in this moment. And yes, there might be things to do. There's always going to be things to do, but I don't need to rush.
It's so interesting because like the day that you're talking about is when Mercury came out of retrograde. So like June 22nd was like, you know, it's over technically. Yeah. They're saying that there's like a shadow period or whatever, but honestly, I can tell when the day it starts and it finishes retrograde because Mercury's so heavy in my chart, and I'm just like, get it out.
Done and dusted. Laters.
See you in a month's time. No, it always feels like it comes back so quick. I'm like, please do not.
You're like, no, but you seem to scoot through it okay, you said, or the full moon period.
Yeah, full moons change every month. But yeah, it's always I love that we have like our, you know, because it's obviously an event, so we sell tickets for it, and then whoever is drawn to attends.
Yeah.
But we offer Reiki and cacao during And so as people are being guided through a guided meditation, we actually go around and giving them like, 5-minute Reiki sessions each.
Wow.
And when you give Reiki, you receive it. So as a practitioner, it's like the best thing ever. It's just everyone's high vibing.
Yeah. You'd walk out just, it's that thing at like the end of class where there's sometimes that feeling like you need to talk or tell people, but it's like, please just leave and go. Like, make sure you're safe to drive, but almost no words needed.
It's so much fun.
Cool. I'm going to get to one of those when the borders open, because we are going to be probably moving to Canberra next year. So be a little bit closer. But yeah, I feel like I could be anywhere. I could be here, I could be there. And regardless, we're going to be in each other's space at some point. So
100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we've connected now. It's
done.
like,
we're sisters. We're blood sisters. It's happening.
Energetically, it's all happening.
Oh, yay. Awesome. Thanks, girlies. Have the most beautiful night. We shall chat very soon, and I will get my order on the way.
Thank you. Thanks so much for like hosting us and being awesome. And I mean, I'm just excited to see like, our friendship flourish as well. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Considering I've popped your podcast cherry, I feel like I should, know your last name and follow up. So I will do that.
Awesome.
Bye. Love you, girls.
Love.
Take care. Bye.